Math 50, section 9.2 is using formulas to find perimeters of different polygons. First, we're going to look at a rectangle. And when you have a rectangle, you have two sides that are the same, called the width, and two sides that are the same, called the length. So in this first example, if this side is 5 inches, this side is also 5 inches. Right here, this side is 9 inches. This side will also be 9 inches. So you will have two sides that are the same measurement and two of the other. So we have our widths and we have our lengths. Now in the previous sections, when you're finding the perimeter, which is it's like walking around, it's the distance around the polygon, what you do is add up all of these sides. You have to make sure you include every side. So if you add these two sides, you get 10, 5 and 5 is 10. And if you add these two, 9 and 9 is 18. And add these two up, you get 28. So the perimeter of this polygon is 28 inches. Okay? Now, instead of adding up all the sides, we can use a formula. Since there's two sides that are the same, we'll say 2w, and the lengths are also the same, 2 length. This is another way to figure out how to find the perimeter of a rectangle. So if we were to put 2 times 5, which is 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 times 9, which is 18, and follow order of operations, you get 28. So the perimeter is 28. You can just add up all the sides, or you can use this formula. You should be familiar with this formula. Perimeter equals 2w plus 2l. Okay, next, and that is right, the formula is right here. I gave it to you in your notes. Perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay, so here's another example. You've got another rectangle, and the width is 3 inches, and the length is 11. So 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. The length is 11, and the width is 3. 2 times 11 is 22. 2 times 3 is 6. Add these up, you get 28. And make sure you label, it's very important to label your answer. 28 inches. Okay, next example. If you have a square, all of the sides are exactly the same. Square is all of the sides are exactly the same. So to find the perimeter of a square, you can add the side 4 times, or simply multiplication is repeated addition. So 4 times one side is another way to find the perimeter of a square. So here's an example. It says how much fencing, so fencing is a good, it's a real world example of what perimeter means. Fencing is needed to enclose a square field. It's 50 yards on each side. So they give you the picture. It's 50, this would be 50, this would be 50, this would be 50. So instead of adding 50 plus 50 plus 50 plus 50, you can simply do 4 times one of the sides. So 4 times 50 is 200. And please don't forget to label, this is in yards. So we would need 50 yards of fencing to enclose this square field. Okay, what if you have a triangle? Triangle has 3 sides. Well, to find the perimeter, you just add side A, B, and C, and it doesn't matter what you label A, B, and C. So for this example, example 4, we have a triangle. One side is 7 inches, another side is 3 inches, and another side is 6 inches. So you're adding up all these sides. 7 and 3 is 10, 10 and 6 is 16. So the perimeter of this is 16, and we're going to label it inches because each side is in inches. Now make sure if one of the sides is not in inches, let's say one is in feet, you need to convert each of these measurements in the same unit, and we're going to talk about that in another section. Okay, next. So we talked about rectangles, squares, and triangles. Well, we have other polygons, such as this one is a trapezoid. To find the perimeter, all you do is add up all the sides, very simply. So all you do is add 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 and 6 is 12. 13, 14. So this is 14 centimeters. You're just adding up all of the sides. So the perimeter of this trapezoid is 14 centimeters. And you can add in any order you want. The reason I did 3 and 3 first, because it's the same number. 3 and 3 is 6, and I added 6. 6 and 6 is 12, and then 14. Okay, what happens when you have a figure that they don't give you all of the sides? So it looks like this is a room, and this room, they gave you the dimensions of this room, but they didn't give you all of them. And it's not a rectangle, it's not a square, it's not a triangle. There's no name for this shape right here. But I know this side right here is 9 feet. And this side is 15 feet. Whoops. So we have 9 feet here and we have 15 feet here. So we don't know what this side is right here. Well, if this length is 15, if we were to extend this straight up, this would be 15, but we're missing this part. So all you do is subtract 15 minus 9, which is 6. So this little ledge right here, which they didn't give us in the picture, is 6 feet. Hope you understand that. So if this is 15 feet and this is 9, we're missing that part. So like pretend like you extended this all the way to the end. It should be 9 feet. Well, pretend like it's a rectangle. Okay? Now, same with the other sides, the width. This is 10 feet right here, but they only give you this piece, which is 7 feet. So if this were extended all the way here, this from here to here would be 10 feet. So this piece right here is missing 3 feet because it's 10 feet minus 7 feet, which is 3 feet. Okay, so now all you have to do is add up all the sides. You're adding 10, 9, 3, 6, 7, 15. Now, when I add, just to give you a little trick, I try to get tens, as many tens as I can. 7 and 3 is 10, right? And you have another 10. And then we have 15. And then 9 and 6 is also 15. Much easier to add that way. You can add in any order you want. 5 and 5 is 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 50. The perimeter is 50 feet. Okay, now here's an application. If you were to if you were in the business of wallpapering, or if you wanted to wallpaper your room, a border, which is just the very top, bordering, or actually in the middle of a room, you want to put a border around a room. Well, you need to figure out how much wallpaper to purchase. So they tell you the cost. The cost is $1.09 per foot. So it says you have a rectangular room, and it measures 10 feet by 12 feet. Now you're only putting border around each side. So you have to go all the way around, which means this has to be bordered and this has to be bordered. So the perimeter is adding up all the sides. So it's 2 of these, 2 times the width plus 2 times the length. So 2 times 10 plus 2 times 12. So we have 20 plus 24 is 44. We have 44 feet if we were to go walk all the way around this room. Now it says that your wallpaper is $1.09 per foot. So you take the number of units, you have 44 feet. So the cost would be 44 feet times it's $1.09 a foot. So if you multiply that out, you get $47.96. That would be the cost of the wallpaper. $47, and you're just multiplying those two. Okay? The circumference of a circle is really the perimeter of it. We use the word circumference. When you hear the word circumference, think perimeter. There's 2 formulas. First of all, here's a picture of a circle. I will redraw it for you. Here's your circle. You have a point right in the middle. That's called your center. The distance from the center to any point on the circle, so is always the same. So any point we pick from the center to that point, they will always be the same. That is called your radius. Now, if you go straight across from one end of the circle through the center to the other point, opposite side, the length of this is called your diameter. So all the way across is diameter. Okay, just like in this picture. Now, if we want to find the circumference, the perimeter around the circle, we use this formula. There's 2 formulas. You can use 2 times the radius, which is equivalent to the diameter. So 2 times the radius, 2 of the radius is the diameter, times pi. And pi is about 3.14 or 22/7 if you use a fraction. Okay? Pi is an irrational number. It's a number that never ends. It goes on and on. But we usually abbreviate it. We round to the nearest hundredth, which is 3.14. Okay? So the circumference of a circle, which is the perimeter, is 2 of the radiuses. So you either double the radius or you just use the diameter. Remember, these 2 are the same thing, and you multiply it by pi. Pi is 3.14. Okay, so here is a example of finding the circumference. We have a circular spa right here, and this circular spa is 14 feet, and that's the diameter. So if we want to find the circumference of this, so if we want to put tile all the way around this spa, the circumference is, we can either use 2 times the radius times pi, or since we were given the diameter, it would be pi times d, or d times pi. You can reverse these, it doesn't matter, it's the same thing. So pi is 3.14, and they give you the diameter of 14 feet, so you just multiply those 2, and you end up with, you could just say 14 pi. You can, instead of writing 3.14, it just depends on how they want you to convey the answer. Remember, this is pi. You could have just said 14 pi, and we usually put pi at the end. We don't say pi 14, we say 14 pi. Or you can multiply it out, and if you multiply 3.14 times 14, it's approximately 43.96 feet. Remember, circumference is in units. Don't square it, because that's area. That's it.